are back. I want to revisit a question that we didn't get to touch on earlier, but
Okay.
we talked a little bit about your upbringing, the passing of your father, you being the oldest child, and a daughter, which comes with a whole another set of responsibilities as well. So let's talk about who Pastor Tia is and how your upbringing and your lifestyle, your experiences shaped who you are as a business leader.
Yes. So, um, I always tell people I'm the eldest of five, second of six. So I did have an older sister, but she's a lot older. So growing up in the house, she was already out of the house. So I never like to forget her, but in the context, I did grow up as the eldest of five for a lot of our years. And because she already had my nephew, and so she was doing her life. And so Passatia was I just took my role very, very seriously. I was always the mother hen, for lack of better terms. Our mom was a single mom and she did a great job, but a lot of the times I was kind of there to be responsible. And I took that very seriously. And so I think that followed me because one, I'm very independent. I tend to do things. And that's probably why it took me so long to hire help in my business, was because I was like, well, I can do all of this. So why do I need to hire help? And so that was another mindset shift that I had to do. Another thing about me is because of my independence, because of that, my my love languages are acts of service or gifts. I'm very always offering my services, but on the flip side, I have a hard time asking for help. I have a hard time accepting things, even though I love going all out. Like I love planning surprise parties, like I love that, but I plan my own party because I'm like, well, my birthday's coming up, so I'll plan it. So I don't give people a chance to plan a surprise, even though I just planned several surprise parties. So it's like a flip side of kind of my upbringing. I was the one always asked for help, and so I loved doing it, but I never asked, and so now I have a hard time asking or accepting help. It's being worked on. I'm a lot better than I was because I've learned to hire help. I've learned to reach out. That's how I got coaches. That's how I realized that I need coaches. And I'm proud of myself because I think I realized that I needed coaching because I knew numbers, but I didn't know business. And I did get burned early on before I went into my business full time. And it was a lot of money for me at the time, but I didn't let that stop me from continuing. And I see that. I think a lot of people get burned and then they kind of stop. And so that is, I'm going to give myself kudos because I think everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a mentor to help along the way. And you might have found the wrong one at some point. That doesn't mean that the right one is not out there. And so, yeah, I definitely, who I was in the past was very big sister, oldest, take care of the situation. We'll figure it. Like I will be the one that figures something out.
And that also shows up in your leadership style.
Yep. Probably why I kind of flipped to the other side where I let them kind of take their space over. And it's probably something that I need to talk to my therapist about. Because it sounds opposite, but I feel like maybe there's some part of me who does not want to just control everything. Like I don't want that. So
how has that shown up with hiring? I know that we work together and I've helped, but you also have hired outside of virtual assistants on your own. So how has that shown up when you're hiring individuals? Because in my head, I imagine like, oh yeah, TeQuila, I like you. You're good. You're dope, right? You're hired, right? So I'm just curious of what your process is when you're hiring on your own.
So yeah, I'm a complex person because I feel like my hiring is a lot more stringent. Like I've had a lot of candidates when it comes to hiring, I think I'm probably still in my corporate setting where like I've had someone who came to an interview because it was virtual, but they didn't have their head wrapped like how you have your head wrapped now. It was
They
like
had a
what they
bonnet
sleep
on.
in. They had like a bonnet on. And I was just like, I was like, yeah, no, this is not gonna work. Even though when you get hired, I probably wouldn't care if you had a bonnet on, because as long as you're doing your job and there's no client facing with a bonnet on. But I was just like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Then so I think I'm very corporate when it comes to the hiring part. And so I haven't had anybody besides that one that I talked about that once they got hired that there was any issues. Because yeah, I think I'm very strict at the hiring part. I've not hired a lot more people than I've interviewed.
Yeah. And you know what the interesting thing is though, is that I still would associate that with your big sister style, right? Like take your business is your house.
Yeah.
You're not going to just let anybody in the house.
Exactly.
The same way you wouldn't if you know you're a mama hen. You're not letting anybody in the house. Anybody can't come in the house. You're not letting your siblings bring anybody in the house. It's the protection of the house.
Yes. Okay, so then yes, I like that. I like that you tied that back up because
yeah, I think that's what it is. Yes, ma'am. We're going to come right back and talk more. And I want to know about this thing called self-care and investing in yourself and how you do that because it is so critical. I know that it's like taboo with some people, like team no sleep. I'm like, I'm not on that team.
Nope.
So I want to talk about that when we come back.
Sounds good.